How did architecture go from massive stone palaces and ornately decorated temples to the clean glass towers and minimalist homes we see today? It's a huge transformation, right? Today, we're going to uncover the dramatic evolution that shaped the world we live in. We'll look at how revolutions, wars, and incredible new materials, along with some seriously bold architects, changed the rules of design forever. Get ready to explore the story of American modern architecture. It all started with a revolution, but not the one you might be thinking of. The Industrial Revolution in the 18th and 19th centuries was the real game changer. Factories started mass-producing building materials like iron, steel, and large panes of glass. Suddenly, architects had a whole new toolbox. They could build bigger, stronger, and faster than ever before. This wasn't just about new materials. It was about a new way of thinking. The spirit of the machine age, efficiency, function, and progress began to seep into the very foundations of design. This was the true birth of modernism. One of the first things to go? All that fancy decoration. For centuries, buildings were covered in elaborate carvings, columns, and details inspired by history. But modernists saw this as unnecessary and dishonest. They believed a building's design should reflect its purpose and its structure. The famous architect Louis Sullivan coined the phrase, "Form follows function." This became the rallying cry for a new generation. They stripped away the ornamentation, arguing that the beauty of a building should come from its clean lines, its materials, and its smart design, not from glued-on decorations. This rejection of ornament went hand in hand with a love for new materials. Steel frames allowed for something revolutionary: the curtain wall. Instead of heavy stone walls holding up the building, a strong internal steel skeleton did the work. The outer walls could now be made of lightweight materials, like huge sheets of glass. This is how we got those iconic glass-walled skyscrapers. Architects were like kids in a candy store, experimenting with reinforced concrete to create sweeping curves and daring shapes that would have been impossible with stone or brick. Innovation wasn't just an option. It was the driving force of modern architecture. Then, across the Atlantic, a school in Germany popped up that would change everything: the Bauhaus. Founded in 1919 by Walter Gropius, the Bauhaus wasn't just an architecture school. It was a movement. It brought together artists, craftsmen, and designers with a shared goal: to unite art and technology. They championed a clean, functional, and mass-producible style. When the Nazis forced the school to close in 1933, many of its key figures, like Gropius and Mies van der Rohe, fled to the United States. They brought their radical ideas with them, planting the seeds of modernism deep in American soil, especially in cities like Chicago. But America also had its own homegrown genius: Frank Lloyd Wright. While European modernists were obsessed with the machine, Wright looked to nature. He developed what he called organic architecture. He believed that buildings should grow out of their surroundings, becoming part of the landscape itself. Think of his famous house, Falling Water, which is literally built over a waterfall. He used natural materials like wood and stone, created open, flowing interior spaces, and emphasized horizontal lines that mimicked the prairie. Wright forged a uniquely American path for modernism, proving it could be both innovative and deeply connected to the earth. After World War II, the ideas of the Bauhaus architects, who had immigrated to the U.S., really took hold. Their style, which became known as the International Style, was perfect for a post-war America. It was all about progress, efficiency, and corporate power. What defined this style? Think geometric forms, smooth surfaces, a lack of any decoration, and vast expanses of glass. Architects like Mies van der Rohe designed iconic buildings like the Seagram Building in New York. This sleek, rational, and universal style became the new language of corporate headquarters and institutional buildings all across the globe. The post-war economic boom also fueled a massive building spree. Suburbs exploded with simple, modern ranch houses, and cities started reaching for the sky like never before. This was the golden age of the skyscraper. Using the principles of the international style and the power of steel frame construction, architects built tower after tower. These gleaming glass and steel giants became powerful symbols of American economic might and technological optimism. The skyline of every major American city was fundamentally and permanently reshaped during this era of incredible growth and ambition. But not everyone loved the sleek, classy look of the international style. Some architects felt it was too slick, too corporate, and lacked a human touch. Out of this sentiment grew brutalism. The name comes from the French béton brut, meaning raw concrete, and that's exactly what it was all about. Brutalist architects celebrated the raw, honest, and powerful nature of concrete. They created massive, blocky, fortress-like buildings. You often see this style in government buildings, university campuses, and public housing projects from the 1950s to the 70s. It was a bold, confrontational style, and let's be honest, it's one you either love or you hate. By the 1970s and 80s, the pendulum swung again. A new generation of architects felt that modernism, with its strict rules and minimalist dogma, had become boring and sterile. This led to postmodernism. If modernism said, "Less is more," postmodernism cheekily replied, "Less is a bore." Postmodern architects brought back things modernism had banished: color, decoration, and references to historical styles, but often in a playful, ironic, or exaggerated way. Think of Philip Johnson's AT&T building in New York, a skyscraper with a Chippendale top that looks like a piece of antique furniture. It was a rebellion against the seriousness of minimalism. So, where are we today? Contemporary architecture isn't one single style. It's a mix of everything that came before, supercharged with new technology. Sustainability is a huge driver, leading to green roofs, solar panels, and energy-efficient designs. Computers allow architects to design incredibly complex, fluid, and organic shapes that would have been unimaginable just a few decades ago. We see buildings that curve, twist, and seem to defy gravity. From the deconstructed forms of Frank Gehry to the futuristic parametric designs of Zaha Hadid, today's architects continue to push the boundaries, creating a built environment that is more diverse, dynamic, and fascinating than ever. From the functional ideals of the Industrial Revolution to the digital dreams of the 21st century, the story of American modern architecture is a tale of constant change and bold vision. It reflects our society's values, our technological advancements, and our ever-changing ideas about beauty and function. The next time you walk through a city, look up. The buildings around you aren't just concrete and glass. They're chapters in an incredible story. Thanks so much for watching. If you enjoyed this journey through architectural history, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell for more videos. See you next time.